Hi there, I'm Jo Ruddock and I'm Content Editor at SVG Europe. I'm here with Chris Fossey, who's Business Development Manager at Iron Mountain Entertainment Services. Welcome, Chris.
Hey Jo, thanks for having me.
Pleasure. So let's start with a bit about IMES. Tell me about who they are and what they do.
Right, I'm, as you just said, Chris Fossey, a Business Development Manager at Iron Mountain Entertainment Services. Been here for almost a year now. I've worked in archives before and facilities. So it's a real passion of mine to be involved with Iron Mountain and what we're trying to achieve here. But a bit about Iron Mountain, a global business dedicated to storing and protecting, managing information and assets. So that's the global company incorporated Iron Mountain. I work for Iron Mountain Entertainment Services, IMES, we call it for short. Iron Mountain as a whole is recently celebrated its 70th anniversary. So we've been around for some time. Iron Mountain originally opened its business out of an abandoned iron mine in Hudson in New York. So we've been going for a while. Entertainment Services, the division I work in, purely work in the media and entertainment division of Iron Mountain. We're a go-to for physical and digital services. You know, we're there to partner with clients to help preserve, access, and monetize their archives. So we have a real passion to work with archive content and various formats and secure and preserve assets for our clients going forward.
Okay, and tell me about how sports archives came to the forefront during the COVID pandemic for IMES.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a really interesting year for everyone in all sectors. But there's been a real surge in digitisation requests. Speaking to the guys, I mean, we're almost at capacity pretty much every month now. But the last few months alone in sport have been our busiest in video and archive in our studios for the last 10 years. I mean, sport, film, music and entertainment and music. Sorry, I've said music already, but these are areas we work in and we've been really, really busy. And during the pandemic, archives have come out of the basement to take centre stage. Really, it's been a really interesting time, and from my time in the industry, I've never seen it so busy. There's so much work out there. You know, we're there to ensure our customers keep their sports alive, really, and keep fans entertained whilst there wasn't any sport last year. So, it's been a difficult time for most, and it's great to see content that hasn't been seen for a while and some, growing up, I love sports in the 80s and 90s as much as I do today, but there's some real iconic moments in there.
Absolutely, and that was one thing I remember from the early days actually of COVID, was kind of those compilation programs looking back at certain matches of the 80s and that kind of thing, and they were just
it's
welcome.
Fantastic. Yeah. Two major projects we've been working with IMG are the Premier League archive. I mean, everyone knows the Premier League. Since its inception in the early 90s, we've digitized the first 12 seasons because it was all on tape. That accounted to, I think it was approximately 7,000 hours of football. So any of you, the diehard football fans out there have had the opportunity to work on, I think it's 380 matches a season approximately. So we've been working on that. And then the All England Lawn Tennis Club, Wimbledon, from the 90s to the early noughties, 2000s. I think it was about 8,000 hours approximately of content for that. So we've digitized and delivered that. I think we worked out our maths was combined 625 days of footage of football and tennis. So it's been a busy time, and we're constantly speaking with other rights holders to look at digitizing their archive. So it's been a real interesting time, and we've managed to operate our facilities throughout the COVID pandemic. We've had all the procedures in place, all the restriction. We've got around that. So it's been a really interesting time and a good time for the business, for the work that's coming in, and it's really, really, it's great to be a part of.
And just tell me a bit about why it's important for sports archives to digitize their content.
Yeah, I mean, again, there's that piece of this real iconic moments in any sport, and I feel a lot of this footage deserves the right to be seen again. It's it may just sit on a shelf otherwise for however many years, but it's not just sport, but the importance to preserve and safeguard the archives for people in the future. I mean, some of this may never be seen. I mean, the pandemic has shown there's a real need and an appetite for archive content. in sport. Like I say, I could go all day. I love sport, and it's so vast, the sports industry, that I feel we don't want something to go missed, and it deserves the right to be shown again, some of this content. So it's a really important time, and going back again, the tapes and the assets that we work with, they degrade and they're never going to be around forever. Although we offer great storage, different temperature controlled storage that keeps these tapes and assets in its condition, but it's the kit, that the machines, they're not. It's the heads. It's it's constantly updating and technology being available. So that's my piece of it. But generally, it's time to ensure your precious content is digitized and given a digital future before it's too late. I mean, it's not if, it's when. Do you know what I mean? It's that ongoing conversation that we have year in, year out with archives. So it's important.
Of course, yeah. And what about the benefits for right holders?
Rights holders, I mean, like I say, they could be sitting on some real important footage there. Unlock the value of it, really. There's definitely, providing they can monetize it, there's a real appetite. Watching Premier League football again and tennis is what is old is new again. That's what I find, and it's going to preserve and future-proof their content in its digital world. Disaster recovery, monetization. There's definitely opportunities to generate income, brand awareness. Important ones are security of assets going forward. I think that's a real key one. And the distribution of digital assets. You can't send a tape somewhere because the chances are that company hasn't got a machine to play it back on. But digital asset, we can send it from our studios within minutes of digitization to wherever's required. So there are some real benefits to going into the digital world for these archives.
And what about challenges, both for IMES and for rights holders?
I mean, for us, the age of these analog videotapes, they're not the greatest. Some of them, majority are kept some are in our storage, other storage. We find dropout. There's some oxide or tape shedding. The quality of the tape isn't there. We have in-house engineers and we look after our kit. Another thing is a decline in limited skills within video formats. We're trying to engage more people to work with us. We've got a highly experienced team. Maybe it's not as cool to work in archive. It's seen as, I've worked in the broadcast industry and post-production facilities before. The rarity of the equipment, of course, it's so hard to find some of this kit. But again, we work with third-party companies to purchase this kit. So we've got specialists. So, there are challenges, and, for the rights holder, the cost of the video digitization might be high. Can they monetize it? Accessibility, and someone may have 1,000 assets, but it might not be catalogued. There's no metadata. It's, they have some hurdles again. I mean, the scale of the challenge, but it's a certainty that it'll only ever get harder, and to achieve over time means a high volume approach is essential, as opposed to just pulling the odd tape here and there. A whole collection of a tape, it suits in the bigger picture.
Okay, and you recently announced the Smart Vault media asset management platform. What solutions does that provide to the rights holder?
Yeah, that's great. I mean, it was launched early this year. I can't remember what month it was. I mean, this year is a blur, but our new media asset management platform, Smart Vault, is a one-stop solution for content management for storage and archives. We work with broadcasters, production companies, brands, sports rights holders, and media organisations. It's endless, really. It's not just focused on sport, but it works well for sport. Smart Vault enables ease of access for the content owner whenever and wherever they want it. So it's you've got your content on a platform, it's there. It's a whole media management. It allows you to upload and download content. You can share your content. So once you've accessed it, you're allowed to log in and then fire a file to wherever it be, whether it should be an edit or a journalist or a broadcaster. We can share archive from our platform. You can review the content. You can add comments. Audio transcriptions, another one that's within the platform. it allows you to play back some commentary, so we can provide a subtitle file from that, or we can, at the same time, we can translate to another language. It's got many options, so it's really interesting. And I'm talking to some other people, and they've got some other rights holders, sorry, and they need to send a file to a country in Asia where they may want it in another language. Well, this can pull the language from this and subtitle files, and we can export and send it direct to our clients' customers.
Okay. And finally, what do you think the future holds for sports archives?
Yeah, it's a real interesting time. I mean, going back to the digitisation, and there's a huge amount of content is king. That's always stuck with me. That and there is some iconic moments and some real big things to talk about. But going forward, artificial intelligence and machine learning is constantly evolving at the moment, and it's really fantastic. I don't know if you've seen it yourself, but it's amazing what's been achieved it's been going on for some time now. I've seen it a few years ago up to recently, and what it can achieve. I mean, if your content is searchable and easy to access, you can begin to unlock its full potential. I mean, the IMS Smart Vault, an AI powered workflow, help our content owners to their content to market more quickly, drives revenues, works more efficiently, and lower cost of ownership. It's key in some certain areas in image recognition and people and object recognition. A player's Harry Kane, for instance, you could search Harry Kane scoring a goal, header, right foot, left foot. This is all searchable within the platform. Logo recognition for brand awareness. I'm allowed to say Coca-Cola, or for an example, or a Nike or an Adidas. You can search this within a football match or a tennis event. Important people in a crowd with the facial recognition. The tennis, for instance, the raw box, you can search anyone. The facial recognition will spot anyone from royalty in there. And speech to text, going back to what I discussed earlier, it can search for certain buzzwords, some keywords that we can add and search for within a bit of commentary, and we can export that again. So and finally, personal streams and stuff. Players may want to integrate their content, their goals, their moments from a certain sport into their social media platform and integrate that, their stats. There's so much personalization, and it leads to fan engagement, and what you can find on a certain sports person is really interesting, and it's exciting. It's not someone manually logging it now. You're adding keywords, and the platform or machine learning and AI, whatever platform you're working with, will spit out what your requirements are. It's really interesting.
Yeah, it just sounds like there's so much going on. It's very exciting times.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Thank you so much for your time today, Chris. That was really interesting. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe. And for me, IMES is, we're here to help activate your archive. We really understand the value and the importance of archive material. I don't bang on about. We harp on about it all the time, and it's it's don't want to be too late to get this in a digital form. We really want to help preserve and unlock its value for all to see. And working at IMES is a real privilege to work with such talented and professional people that I learn from day in, day out, and see their passion, and it really makes me up my game. But my love for archive is even there, even more so now when working with some great people and some great content.
That's great. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.